Hey, Shane.
Huh?
Do you like mysteries?
I do.
Okay, do you like the board game Clue?
I've never actually played it.
You've never actually played Clue? Okay,
never
so
actually played Clue.
I'm guessing you haven't seen the Clue film?
No.
Well... Now you have.
Yeah.
You've seen Clue.
So what's your experience with the Clue
Clue.
Blore Blame, the Clue board game? What's your experience with it?
I played it a ton as a kid.
Yeah.
I have a very distinct memories playing it. My Nana at her house had these in two of the rooms, these loft things where you climb up this little makeshift ladder up into this little storage space essentially. But we would always kids always had we had a game an N64 up there or something crazy. It was a lot of playing Clue up in that little thing, and it was because as a kid it's a fun game. It's weird, and you have the little score sheet you have to keep, and I always played as Mr. Plum, Professor Plum. That was always my character of choice. But yeah, I played it a lot. The last time I played it was a couple years ago, and I did terribly, and I have forgotten all the strategies on how to do well in Clue.
I legitimately kind of don't really understand how it works.
Essentially, the premise of the game is you're just trying to solve the mystery. So you have a sheet, and it has all the locations, all the characters, all the items.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to travel the board to these different rooms. And like in the movie, there's all the secret passages you can take to different sections. So what you're doing is you're trying to go around the house, I think it's Colonel Mustard in the dining room with the gun or the wrench or the knife or whatever. And you bring all of those things to that room, and they stay there. So you can screw over other characters. And then I can't remember exactly how you reveal each piece, and because then you mark it off, so you start learning. It's okay, well, because 3 cards are removed, put in an envelope and set aside. Once you accuse that, once you go, I know who did it, you pull those cards out, and you're right or wrong, and the game ends or you lose. Right?
Gotcha.
So it's basically just solving the crime, but the strategy of it is making sure no one else knows who you suspect. Because people will start getting on that you're asking about the knife a lot, which means whatever. Because that's how it is. That's how it works. You pass out the cards. Everyone has a set number of cards, so they can tally off things at the beginning, and then you ask, and someone goes, "It's whatever, this, that, the other." You start narrowing it down, and then you make an accusation. But the strategy of the game is to pay attention to who's guessing what, and then you can kind of start marking off.
Gotcha.
It's a fun game.
Yeah.
Clue's a fun,
it's
good
a classic,
time.
right?
Yeah. Oh, big time classic. And so is the Clue movie.
Yeah.
Which, what did you know about this?
I knew it had multiple endings.
Yeah. And that's it?
Yeah. I knew some of the cast members and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I knew Tim Curry is
famously.
Very famously from, in this. And I knew a couple of the other people, a little bit.
Yeah,
but I didn't know the full cast. So when people pop up, we're like, oh, wait, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know, Madeline Kahn. I didn't know she was in this. I was like, rip, pouring out for Madeline
It's
Kahn.
I don't know that I would call... I go back and forth. Is it mainstream enough to not be a cult classic? I don't know. But it's definitely on that line of being a cult movie.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you a few years ago, I think Ryan Reynolds' company got the rights to it, and they were going to make another Clue movie, and then it just never happened.
Is Ryan Reynolds the right guy to...
I don't know.
know.
If he didn't do the Deadpool thing, I think he would be a fun guy to have in the mix. But then it just becomes... I think Knives Out showed up, and they're like, well, we can't do that now, because Knives Out is just doing it better than anything.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's Clue. Yeah. So much funnier than I remember. Because I remember this being funny, but not... I saw it as a kid a lot. I loved it as a kid.
Yeah.
And then watching it as an adult, it's much funnier than I remember, which is a welcome surprise.
The thing that I found most surprising was how freaking horny this movie is.
Oh, yeah.
Front to back. It is so freaking horny.
Yeah.
Some of it's funny, some of it's in 2024.
Yeah, no, it hasn't aged incredibly, but some of it has.
But some of it has. Hey man, people do be horny today still. That'd still be a thing.
But when the telegram lady shows up and then they just and she dies. And that's
okay,
just the end
that
of it.
is a clip I have seen.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's like certain moments in the movie that I have seen like clips of
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
and I was like, oh wait, there's that. There's
I'm
that.
sure you're aware of the like them running all over the house for the
Yeah.
whole third act,
Yeah,
which
which
is
is-
a great
It feels very like Scooby Doo
in the best way,
yeah.
man, in the best way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny. I like by the end, every time they see a new dead body, they're just like, and they just turn and leave the room. Like
Such a good bit.
such
Such a good bit.
Love that gag.
We're like, yeah, but here's another one, and then they go to another room and like, cop's dead too. Like,
Oh well, okay. Who's this lady on our front porch? Whatever. You know what I mean? From that side of it, hilarious.
Yeah.
Now you are right. It is a comedy from the '80s. It's not exactly aged perfectly.
yeah.
To comment on this like very silly movie and a couple of like really like paid a couple really good compliments. The staging in this is incredible.
Phenomenal.
The way
Absolutely
they stage and cover these scenes
Yeah.
is unreal because
Yeah.
they don't just plop people places. Like everyone's kind of up and moving and going back and forth. And at least there was no obvious like breaking the 180-degree rule and
Yeah.
everyone's looking. It's dude, kind of impeccable how well staged it is.
I mean, like people, like they have to be very deliberate about where people are and aren't.
Yeah.
In certain scenes and in certain, you know what I mean? Like what information people know at what times.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
you have to be really, really, and not only to do that for one murderer, but potentially for three.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Where it would make some kind of sense
Yeah.
for all three of them to be the murderer.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
For the for our viewing, I've only seen one of the
Yeah,
endings,
yeah.
and we did the randomized one. Who was it?
Scarlet.
Scarlet, yeah, Miss
Yes.
Scarlet. So yeah, I only saw Miss Scarlet's murder ending. Which one had you seen? Which ones have you seen?
I have seen all three,
Okay.
and like I mentioned, cannot remember who. I believe one of them is Professor Plum because I
Yeah.
think I was always like, "No, that's my guy in the game."
Yeah.
I believe that was one of them. I cannot remember the other two. Please tell us down in the comments who the. We should have watched all
we
three
could
after the
we
movie,
could just
but-
Google it right now.
No,
but
no,
who
no, I
cares?
don't want to do that. That's not fun.
Yeah, like the fact that they actually had three different endings that they played in theaters.
At seemingly random.
That's one thing I actually don't know is would one like screen have the same ending all day long, or would that ending change between screenings?
Oh, my guess, just based on.
I would imagine it would be the
Well,
same.
also like how many back when this came out, how many screens did a local theater have? You know,
Yeah, that's
was
true.
it theater by theater potentially?
Yeah,
I'm sure in a
potentially.
lot of places it was for smaller theaters.
Yeah.
they only got one ending, and then other people got 3 reels because they're the biggest theater in New York or whatever. But imagine that. Imagine walking out of a mystery movie and going, "You got to go see this. The ending is crazy," or
Yeah.
"It's so funny," and whatever. But like the ending, it works so well, and then they're like, "Oh, I can't believe that Scarlett did it." What are you saying to me?
Yeah.
What do you mean, Scarlett? Dude, the fights that would be had over that
Yeah.
would be awesome.
the freaking like gaslighting that
Yes.
you're like, I saw the movie.
Yeah.
It was Miss Scarlet. It's like, dude, I'm telling you, it was Professor Plum.
Yeah.
Like that would be absolutely hilarious.
Legendary,
There's
incredible.
there's like no way you can pull that off again.
No,
right?
no.
Like,
It would be the closest thing we have had that I can think of in recent memory is the like one different scene in Across the Spider-Verse they sent out to different theaters.
yeah.
Where like they had like just a like 2 or 3 different jokes in like a 1 or 2 shot difference. Which whatever, I have no feelings on that at all. But it's not the same thing and it's not as fun.
Yeah, the only other one that I can think about is like I think it was I don't remember what movie. It was like which one with the Disney animated movie with all the animals, Zootopia,
Oh.
where it's like I think there's like different. It's like localized, so we're like different. The like news stations or like the things that they're talking about on the news is like different between different countries where it's showing in.
Oh, interesting.
like,
Yeah.
I
Kind of
I
like
think,
like Captain America and the Winter Soldier. His little the little list of things he needs to catch up on is different country to country.
Yeah. It's but those are like localization things more than it is like,
Yeah,
you know, like Easter egg stuff,
Yeah.
like, you know, or just differences, like actual differences in the climax of the movie. I would be fascinated to see if someone, I mean, The other part of it is just like the way the media works now. It's like it would be
the jig would be up instantaneously
before
like,
the movie would come out. People would be talking about like, you got to go see it 3 times.
yeah,
you know what I
there's
mean? Like,
3 endings.
yeah. Like that wouldn't be something that they would be able or even want to keep hidden.
That is about, yeah, you're absolutely right. That would be part of the marketing.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, look, the way I describe this movie is like a practical joke.
Yeah.
Like it's telling a mystery, and the mystery is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it's involved, it's intricate. They do set up this idea that it could really have been anybody.
It really does feel that way.
Like in a really well-crafted, smartly done way. Exactly what we're talking about with blocking, right? Like there's moments when anybody could have slipped away and done the murder.
Yeah.
But no. It's literally it's just any of them. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It's at least 3 of them.
it's at least 3 of them. But I think it tells an incredible mystery where you kind of get sucked up in it, and then at the end you're like, well, none of that actually mattered because they just made up who wanted to do it 3 different ways.
Yeah.
And so it's like you couldn't have solved this because at a certain point you're just guessing. Like,
Yeah. Like that is one thing. Like from like another like I guess you could say like maybe a negative would be like from like a true mystery. It's like by the end when the mystery is revealed, you see all of the pieces
Yeah.
that lined up for that. But because it kind of really could be anyone,
Yeah.
you don't really have that kind of like cathartic moment as a viewer of being like, oh, that led to that, led to that,
Yeah.
led to that. Where it's like, again, like all of them could have done it.
But I think the reason it works for me is because it's a comedy.
Yes,
Because up to
100%.
that point, it's so like physical slapstick to farcical to like, it's all of these things in this big broad way, never really delving into like an emotional moment ever. So by
Yeah.
the end, you're just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Like, versus like if they had done that with Knives Out, where because
Yeah.
I saw Knives Out at an early screening and I was like, I wonder if they'll do that. Like if they'll just have a different ending play randomly in like 2 cities or something
Yeah.
just for fun. But no, Knives Out is crafted in such a way that literally only one guy could have ultimately done it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a practical joke. Like it's just this big fuck you to anybody who loves a mystery. I remember when Game of Thrones came out, the final season, the final episode, or not even the finals, but the Battle of Winterfell.
Yeah.
And that episode aired, and spoilers for Game of Thrones, when Jon Snow doesn't even fight the Night King.
Yeah.
And it's
Doesn't
all
even see him.
he sees him once, and he
Oh.
just lifts his arms again for the 4th time in the show. And you know what I mean? It's like this
Yeah.
moment of like, what the hell, dude? It's so frustrating.
Don't get me
And
started.
I can't remember who said it, but the big thing that came out about that when people were writing about it, it's like, look, when you are writing a story where the butler did it, you cannot get to the end and have the maid have done it.
Yeah.
It just does not work that way.
Yeah.
And this movie is the thing that proves that rule, right? It's the exception that proves it. Where it's
Yeah.
just like you can, but it has to be a joke.
Yeah,
like it,
like-
it can't be serious.
And it's like included it. You know what I
Included
mean?
it,
Included it. Like
Leave it at that. We're done.
yeah, like on kind of vaguely on the topic of that of Game of Thrones kind of specifically, like George R. R. Martin said, like like a weak writer is the one that's like, if somebody if the fan base have figured out your thing, do you pivot for the sake of surprise, or do you stand on your convictions and know that's the story that you're telling and you tell it anyways?
Yeah.
And he's like, a strong storyteller, a strong writer will tell it anyways.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like they may have picked it up, but like
Yeah.
it makes it so much worse when it's like, wait, no, like, and it could have been anybody when you set up so many pieces for it to
Yeah.
be this person, or like at least these people, and then out of nowhere, but it works for Clue because exactly like what you're saying. It's like, it's a joke. Like it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like small, you know what I
Like
mean?
localized, very
Right.
like yeah.
And and all of them had like the motive and the
Yeah.
opportunity and all that kind of stuff to do all of this stuff for the most part.
Yeah. That reminds me, has nothing really to do with Clue, but it's another one of those like anecdote things. I was listening to a podcast with Joe Hill, Stephen King's son, a very acclaimed horror writer. And when Stephen King was writing Dr. Sleep, a thing about essentially vampires, like who suck the souls
Yeah.
out of people, right? and feed off of the life force of someone else. A vampire.
Yeah.
He was also writing a book called Nosferatu, but it's spelt as a license plate, which is a fun idea, and I've heard that book's quite good. Which is about a vampire. And they were talking one day just about their writing, and they went, "Are you serious? We're both writing vampire things right now? Can you imagine the like whatever?" And so when they were talking, Joe Hill's essentially like, "Look, we were faced with an option. Either one or both of us changes our books,
Yeah.
or we steer into it." And so the vampire in Nosferatu shows up as a cameo in Doctor Sleep.
Love it.
And the True Knot shows up in Nosferatu as a cameo.
Love it.
And he was like, look, creatively, that was just really fulfilling to just go, we still like our books, so let's just play with it.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I love the concept of that, and fucking exactly what George R. R. Martin said. It's like, no, stick to your conviction, dude.
Just
Like
you, yeah. Is this the best board game / video game thing?
/ video game thing. Ooh, what are the other board game movies other than? I mean, Jumanji has a board game in it, but I think the board game came after.
Yeah.
Um,
Chess. Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit. Do you remember when you were at Madness?
Okay, we went to a freaking, there's a local comic book store, game shop, all the above. That's a bunch of board games, and I saw a board game for the Queen's Gambit, and I said out loud, if this game isn't just chess, I'm gonna scream. And the dude working the counter from like 15, 20 feet away went, "It's not chess." And I was like, "You're kidding me, dude." So the Queen's Gambit board game, it uses chess pieces, but it isn't just chess.
So fucking good.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my
That's
entire
so
life.
funny.
It's like, it's hilarious and makes you want to freaking play that shit now.
Yeah.
But anyways.
To answer your question, maybe.
Yeah,
you know what I
like-
mean? Like, it's really fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, the list of good video game adaptions is quite short.
Yeah, it's like Fallout, Last of Us.
Which those are shows, like if we're talking movies.
Yeah, just nothing. Fucking nothing, dude.
Like,
Now, if you're talking, this is funny, Game Night, Ready or Not, right? If you're talking Jumanji, Zathura, if you're
Yeah.
talking like game or movies that involve a board game as a integral thing in it, maybe it's quite good. I really like Clue, but maybe not as good as a Jumanji or a Ready or Not. I don't know.
I think I'm gonna put Clue at the top.
Oh shit! Okay, cool.
I
Sick.
love Jumanji. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I could beat Jumanji. I could win at Jumanji.
Could you survive Clue or Jumanji?
Which one? I mean, like, shit. That's a good question, actually. Am I Professor Plum, or like am I am I an NPC that shows up?
You have to flip a coin. Because one, it literally just makes it a 50-50 thing because all the
That's so
NPCs
funny.
die.
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah. Just literally, I mean, like, I guess the only one who doesn't is the cop at the end, the guy who shows up as the hippie cop.
Yeah. So wait, are you saying you like this more than Ready or Not as well?
Yeah.
Oh damn, that's surprising. I love Ready or Not.
Don't get me wrong. I also really, really, really liked Ready or Not. But I don't know, man. This has the juice. I don't know. It's got something about it. And I haven't seen Ready or Not since we watched it, so maybe it definitely deserves a rewatch. But yeah, I don't know. How does Jumanji fall in that for you?
Jumanji just has a lot of nostalgia. I love Robin Williams. I haven't watched Jumanji front to back in like 10 years.
Really?
It's been a very long time.
I feel like I just rewatched it like a year or two ago.
No, we should do a Jumanji episode for this just to do it. But no, Clue is up there. I mean, I really like Clue. Also,
we should
haven't
just do
seen
like
this
a
in 10 years.
Robin Williams episode.
I agree with that.
Because I am I'm not just for a long time I wasn't the biggest Robin Williams fan, and I feel like this could be an opportunity for you to shove Robin Williams.
I'm going to show you. We're going to watch Jumanji. We're going to watch Good Morning Vietnam. Hook. I don't know if you'll like Hook.
I don't know if I will either.
A lot of people hate Hook. They're wrong, but a lot of people hate Hook.
I want to watch it just because, like, for that, like, just so I can know where I stand.
I love that. Like, I've watched it as an adult. Still love that movie.
Yeah.
It's too long. Like, I understand some of the complaints, but it's something like whimsical and wonderful about it that I can't get away from. Anyway, Fascinating, and that makes me want to watch Jumanji now.
Yeah.
Um,
Jumanji shreds, man.
Jumanji does shred. Do you like the Jumanji remake?
I haven't seen the sequel.
Welcome,
to,
yeah. Which is fun.
Is it remake? Is it a sequel? I don't actually know.
I mean, it does start as a board game that turns into a video game
yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's a Lego sequel.
yeah, but with none of the okay, no,
Yeah,
you're
well, I
right. It
guess.
is because they do in the second one they mention Robin Williams' character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they when they're in the world or whatever, there's like a hut thing, and he's like, I just found it, and it has the
yeah.
elephant piece with
Yeah.
his name carved into it.
Yeah.
Which is a really nice tribute. The second one's good. The second one's funny. It's not as good as the first one, but
Yeah.
To shock the world, that first Jumanji like sequel thing
Couldn't believe.
is actually like quite good.
Super
and
fun.
It was like the resurgence of Jack Black at the perfect
Yes.
time that we needed him, and The
Yes.
Rock was playing like an actual character.
And when the world needed him most, he appeared.
he appeared,
He did not vanish.
You got to watch that show, man.
I know. Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of it.
You got to watch it
I
front to
know,
back.
I know,
You
I
gotta. Anyway, Clue. Yeah, it's as a comp. Do you think this could be remade today? Like, I know we talked just a second ago about the triple ending thing, but do you think there's a version of this movie that works today? Because they don't make a lot of comedies anymore. Or is Knives Out just the new?
I think Knives Out is the new. I like that we have Clue. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, we
yeah.
have it. It exists. There. You know what I mean? Like I don't know why it would need to be made again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when we do have things that are of a similar tone and
Yeah.
style. You know what I mean? Like we have Knives Out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I think that is the 2020s version of a Clue remake. Because like I don't know, we have Clue. You know what I mean? Like what that is my question is like why now is the time to do it again? I don't know.
Yeah,
what
is there
the answer is.
is there
Other than just, like-
anything timely about it
Right.
that would make sense? And I think you're right. Like Knives Out just kind of becomes that. Very excited about the third one coming out.
Yeah.
The cast is looking very cool so far.
Which is part of the reason why we did this.
So talk
This
about
week
a good
was-
old whodunit or whatever.
Yeah,
Or whatever genre bendy mashup thing he's gonna do with this third one.
because like what was? I mean, I guess it was a whodunit in Glass Onion, even more so than
It turned into a
Yeah.
whodunit, whereas like Knives Out started as a whodunit, turned into a crime thriller, and then secretly became a whodunit again right at
Yeah.
the very end.
yeah.
And then Glass Onion was like you don't even know what the crime committed was for a long time,
Yeah.
and it's Glass Onion's really good. That movie's a little bit slept on.
I just rewatched it.
So did
it's
I.
So freaking good. Dude.
It's so funny. It's
Yeah.
so funny. Anyway, Clue.
Clue.
Christopher Lloyd. I have seen him in so few movies
Yeah,
outside of Back to the Future.
that's so funny.
It's this. He's in the Psych 100th episode, which is a Clue send up episode,
Yeah.
so which is essentially playing the same character,
You love.
which is super fun. And then I've seen him in Nobody, and I'm trying to think what else I've seen Christopher Lloyd in.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Which is one of I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
It's a classic.
I have it on VHS somewhere.
You've definitely seen him in more than I think you think you have.
I'm positive I have.
Adam's Family. Have you seen either of those?
I've never seen the Addams Family.
Oh, okay.
He's
He's in Nobody. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other Christopher Lloyd projects. And so now I can tell you, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
okay. Yeah, I forgot he was in that. Dude, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a movie that spawned like 10 careers.
Okay, so he's in Man on the Moon, but he's playing himself in the background of Taxi.
Doesn't count. Okay, so literally I've seen him in the Back to the Future trilogy, Clue, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Nobody, Man on the Moon, technically, and then a George Clooney directed movie called The Tender Bar, which is okay.
Anastasia? Have you seen Anastasia?
Okay, and then also
that'll be a Megan recommends episode. She loves Anastasia.
and then also a Jake Johnson directed movie called Self Reliance that I
Right.
forgot he was in.
I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, so I've seen. He's been in a ton of movies, and I've not seen all that many of them.
Yeah.
I love Christopher Lloyd; he's a treasure. But
Yeah.
Anyway, what else have you seen? I'm embarrassed. What's his name? Oh my god, Tim Curry in,
Oh, Tim Curry. I mean, like famously, like Rocky Horror.
which I haven't seen.
Yeah,
He's
shit.
also in an episode of Psych. Not the 100th episode, but he's in an episode.
legit. You know, we should do. Maybe not next time, but the time after for Pride Month, we should watch Rocky Horror.
Super into that.
Okay, if hopefully it'll happen. We've got something coming up for next episode. But the next time I recommend something in honor of Pride Month, we are going to watch Rocky Horror
I'm
Picture Show.
super down for that.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that movie is insane and absolutely shreds.
Yeah, I'm super down for that.
Like honestly, not all that much. Like he's voiced a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like he was the big weird sludge monster in
Spirited Away.
No. The one that we watched with Avatar.
Oh, Fern Gully.
Fern Gully. Yeah.
I still have not. I read the It book. I love I love It 2017, and I think It Chapter 2 is fine. I have not watched him as Pennywise yet. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the miniseries one. So
Okay, I have seen him in Home Alone 2, Charlie's Angels. I do not remember him at all in The Hunt for Red October.
so I've seen him in more than that. I've seen him in that. I've seen Home Alone 2.
I've seen him in the 2 Rugrats movies.
I've seen one of the Rugrats movies. Don't remember anything about it.
Okay, that's like kind of it. Hilarious. Okay, that's so funny. I feel like I feel like there was a stint where he was doing like a lot of TV and stuff, and there's definitely some stuff in there that I've
like
seen him in.
I'm familiar with him from the he's doing a what's the famously mean dude from American Idol? What's his name?
Simon Cowell.
Simon Cowell. He's doing like a Simon Cowell type character on a fake duet singing show as the judge. And he's the guy they're trying to protect from getting murdered. Pretty good episode. Pretty good episode of Psych. I love
That's
Psych.
fun.
Yeah, so Tim Curry's great. He's fantastic in this movie.
Yeah. He was
So
born
good.
to play this role and also Frankenfurter in
Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Like he was truly, truly born to play those 2 roles.
He has got an energy that I don't think my perception of him isn't as the goofy guy, but then you look at a lot of his movies and you're like, he's the goofy guy. Like,
Yeah. And well, like, would you call it goofy in Rocky Horror?
I don't know. I haven't seen that one, but
He's on a fucking different wavelength in that movie, man. Like,
Sick.
yeah, that's Tim Curry is an absolute treasure.
yeah.
And shout out to Tim Curry.
Other thing about this movie that I was like really impressed with this time is the production design.
Yeah.
I think they set that house up in such a cool way.
Yeah.
And then it gets completely bonkers for a while where like in the attic, there's just a head.
Yeah.
There's just like a head in a jar that they never mention.
Yeah.
I think she's even like looking at it in a quick shot and then they like cut away during one of the, like the crazy sequences.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The opening, I don't think it's like an actual house. I'm pretty sure it's just a matte painting.
Yeah.
When he's driving up at the very beginning of the movie, I'm like, that's the coolest shit ever. That's
Yeah.
like that is the perfect Clue house. Like that is the house of the haunted house on the hill
House.
Yeah, well, is that actually what it's called? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
The Haunting of Hill House. Is
Betrayal on the House.
Betrayal on the House of the Hill. Yes.
Yeah,
okay. That's a very fun board game.
Yeah, another great board game.
Yeah.
It is just like the perfect visage of a mansion where a bunch of murders are going to take place.
Yes.
Good shit.
The dogs.
The dogs, the bit with the shoe, like
Yeah.
the stepping in shit, where they just keep doing the bit
like
over and over.
someone's smelling it. They're like,
That's so good.
it's, fantastic. The soup bit makes me laugh. Where like
s-
only
yeah.
2 of them are having soup, and then later he calls back to it where he's like, which that is something I had never considered until this exact moment. How meticulous they had to be with his ending, crazy like. Because he calls back on like the entire movie, like
Yeah.
little tiny gags in the entire movie where it's like, is that scripted or were they just filmed the whole movie and then did the end sequence?
I was
Or,
just
like,
about to say, like, I think that goes to show how good the writing was and
Yeah.
how little they had to vamp.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
because, like, the way I would read that is, no, all that shit's in the script.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
all that shit is in the script, and he was just doing that. You know, like that is how it was
I
written.
wonder how that feels for actors having to like, Because there are things he calls back that aren't even jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I maybe I need to go back and just watch the third act again and be like, that right there feels like it's like a specific character choice that
Yeah.
like an actor couldn't make because it had to be, which has to be fascinating for an actor to do, right?
Yeah.
Because I just know actors typically don't like certain types of notes and they get quite mad about them. Anyway, random thought that I'm now curious. I'm gonna rewatch.
Oh yeah, I
this.
would be fascinated to know how that was filmed. If it was like possibly shot in order.
Yeah, and then
you know
they-
what I mean,
yeah.
or like close to it. So then yeah, like they
Because
could,
shooting out those rooms for that whole last sequence would be wild.
Yeah.
You know, him having to be at the like. Remember how tired and how far into the run he's been and how sweaty he's got to be and all
Yeah.
that would be a trip for an actor to have
Yeah.
to figure out. That would also be like weeks of shooting in one room and then the next room and then the next room and then the next room.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd have to get so sick of each other by that point,
Yeah.
which is fascinating. I don't know. Maybe I'll dive into the special features of this and just kind of
Yeah.
hear them talk about that kind of stuff.
It's also wild to me how stacked this cast feels, where like almost nobody in it is like an A-lister.
Yeah.
Like all of them are character actors and like B-listers, and yet they all feel like these larger than life
Movie
like
stars.
movie
Like-
stars. Like yeah, like it's really really, and that is part of the legitimately part of the reason why I don't think they could make it today.
Yeah.
Is because you'd want to put The Rock and Ryan Reynolds
Yeah.
and Tom Cruise
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. Like it would just be this like stacked cast that would like
When it needs to just be a group of that guys.
yeah. Yes, like it is the quintessential crew of 80s that guys.
Yeah,
Like
you need in today's world you need a Tim Blake Nelson and William H Macy. And,
yes,
some-
oh my. All right, you're
yeah.
selling me. You're selling me on it.
Are you in? What's her name? Beloved character actress Margot Martindale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like actually yes.
She'd
Like
be fantastic. That
as
trio right there.
as the Feather
Miss Peacock.
Miss Peacock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Margot Martindale is Miss Peacock. All right, you're selling me on it a little
the
bit.
alias thing in this movie is really fun because there's like
Yeah.
almost no point to it.
Yeah.
Because if these people all told each other their names, they'd be like, okay, what do you do for a living? Whoa, that's
Yeah.
weird. You know what I mean? Like the mystery doesn't come from their name.
Yeah.
It comes from the fact that they all have like similar jobs or whatever.
I there's something to the fact that like I think part of the reason why so many video game movies go awry is because there's so much story and so much other shit that they're trying to shove into this. Where like Clue is such a basic,
Yeah.
it is such a basic template to fill story within.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like it's like D&D. Like part of the reason why I think Dungeons and Dragon works. It's like yes, there's a larger universe and there's like the Baldur's Gate games and stories and all that kind of stuff. There is a canon that
Yeah,
exists.
But D&D is a concept.
Yeah, but it's like you fill your story within this vessel, and I think Clue is a perfect version of that. Of like the game itself is just a place to tell stories within,
Yeah.
as opposed to like retelling a story that's already been told. Like I think that's part of the reason why it works so well.
I think that's a fascinating idea.
Yeah,
I love that.
bars
But yeah, the production design
looks phenomenal.
awesome.
Yeah.
The score is super fun.
So
like
good.
it's just very of its time in
Yeah.
the best way possible.
Yeah.
Um
I love a good 80s like synthy
Yeah.
orchestra. Good shit.
yeah, dude. This is something that really stuck with me. Man, movies aren't rain soaked anymore. Not in this way where you can tell it's all fake, but it looks amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not guys walking in with dripping wet trench coats.
Yeah.
When do we get back to that?
Yeah.
Can I get that again? Because that's all I want.
Can we make movies both sexy and
Oh, dude.
rain drenched?
You want to talk about sexy movies?
Yeah.
Hitman.
Oh, is that a sexy movie?
Whew. Glenn, my boy, there's a few things he does in that movie that I have not stopped thinking about.
Yeah, he could sit on my face,
Yeah.
and I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
In fact, I want it.
Yeah, well, there's the he's got the line in the Twister trailer where he's like, "You don't run from your fears, you ride them." And
Yeah.
everyone's been tweeting, "Oh no, Glenn Powell, I'm so scared."
I'm terrified
Which
of
is
Glenn
fantastic. Anyway, yeah, no, movies need to be sexy again, and
And
they need
just-
to be rain. So, because
Yeah.
Seven is like that.
Powell. Dude, oh my god, yeah, that is one waterlogged.
You know what? I say that the Batman has
Yeah.
quite a few like rain
Oh, that
sequences.
movie's wet as shit
Yeah, in more ways than one.
in more ways than one.
But yeah, no, I want that back. I also I'm trying to think of recent examples of the like one location movie.
Yeah.
and I can't think of any. Which that is, and this is not a good example. That most of the time when that's done, it's to like cost save.
10 Cloverfield Lane.
10 Cloverfield Lane, great example of that. You have movies like Ready or Not or like Abigail, same directors, where it's like kind of all in this one mansion, which is a very fun. I like that storytelling device. Like it's very cool. But I'm trying to think of like other ones exactly like this.
Violent Night.
Actually, absolutely.
Yeah.
It takes place in the surrounding woods, and
Yeah, it's like they leave the house at a certain point, but the rest of the movie's in that one house.
it's like he's in the bar at the beginning, and then as soon as they get to the house,
the bar. Yeah, I forgot about
But
the
as soon
bar.
as they get to the house, it's like one little
That's
flashback.
set up.
Yeah,
Like,
it's all,
that's-
no. Getting to the house and then being there. This
Yeah.
movie has them on the road and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, the cast has fantastic chemistry.
Oh yeah.
Like, I did think it's funny now. There's jokes that when they don't land and they just commit to them with like a fury where they just
Yeah.
let it hold. Like, is when he's like, she was a socialist, and they're all like, and like it's just like kind of silent because it's like not that great. But I love the commitment to it where
Yeah.
it's like they're trying to, even at the time you can clearly tell it's like that's the least bad thing any of them did.
Yeah.
And yet it's dealt with all of the most like
Abject horror.
yeah, it's like it's funny
Yeah.
in their commitment to it. There's several of those throughout this movie where they just like really commit to a gag that maybe didn't pay off, but they're like, "Fuck you, we think it's funny."
Yeah.
And they just go with it, and I respect the hell out of that
Yeah.
as a concept. Yeah, other things for you, other ideas.
No, that really jumps out. I mean, I just Clue, good movie, man.
Clue, good movie, man.
Clue, good movie, man.
To show off my copy of it real quick because I have a fun copy of it. This is the Shout Select copy, which is this is my only Shout Select. I have a lot of Scream Factory, but Shout Select, they're like numbered. They put out kind of weirder cult movies like this. So this is 152. Don't know what the other 151 are.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is awesome. It's got the 4K. It's got great art. I really was like when they announced this on 4K, I was like really excited because I hadn't watched it in a long time. And I bought it months ago when it came out, and I was like, shit, I want to do this for the podcast, so I have to wait. But yeah, this is a fantastic movie. Got a lot of special features, some commentaries. You can shuffle the endings or do like trilogy play, so it'll play them all, which is really cool. But this is a cool copy of this movie, and Shout Factory is awesome. They always put out really cool stuff.
Where does the new ending, the different endings start?
I think it's at the accusation.
Oh, okay.
I think it leads up because he very specifically never puts anything on anyone,
right.
or does but does it to everybody.
Yeah.
Where you're like, wait, is he saying no? He's still going.
Yeah.
No, wait, no, he's still going.
Yeah.
I think so. As soon as the accusation, he goes, and they all look the other way, and then he lays it all out on the line.
Okay.
Is my understanding and my memory of it.
Fascinating.
Because I don't know that I've ever watched it in trilogy play. I just think I saw it a bunch as a kid, and then maybe just went through the special features and went this ending or whatever.
Yeah.
God, I want to go back and stand in a theater lobby as people are walking out arguing about who the killer was. That sounds fantastic.
To go
me.
back in time.
To go back in time. That would be the one thing I would do.
Yeah.
Not save anyone.
No.
Not make $1 million.
Not kill anyone.
Hear what? Hear arguments about Clue.
There's only one person I'd kill, and his name's Robert. I already screwed it up. Ronald Reagan was what I was gonna say.
Wild.
I'd shoot him and I'd get the job done.
Oh my God.
We just came up with a funny idea that we just cut from the podcast because it's actually a good. Actually, Spencer came up with the idea. I'm not saying we. Spencer came up with a funny idea. We just cut that, so we're back in time.
We're
now.
back in it, boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clue.
Clue. What are your lessons? I think. I mean, I'll just hop on what you were saying about staging. Like it's the staging in this movie is so. It's so important to do it correctly because again, like the kind of flow of information and like hiding the people who aren't where they need to be. You know what I mean? Who aren't in the scene because they're doing something else somewhere else. Like, I never noticed that. I never noticed when people weren't where. You know what I mean? Like I never knew who the killer was because like, oh, they weren't there then because that was when that other person was dying. So like it had to be them.
Yeah.
I never like instantly just knew. And that movie does that phenomenally well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's so energetic too. Like it's not even just. It's so meticulous, but it feels very natural because of the energy with which they're all moving about and doing it. Like really fascinating. And I would be fascinated to know how they rehearsed it.
Yeah.
Like really would love to like. Did y'all have all the sets built? Were they all like that so you could just run? Was it a real house for some of it? Like fascinated to know all of those things.
Yeah.
I think from a writing standpoint, like just to add on to that as my lesson, because I think that it's fascinating that this comedy from the 80s has staging as good as it does.
Yeah.
Movies are really different now, guys.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, so it's I think it is from a writing standpoint, it's exactly what you were saying is like all the details in that last sequence had to be on the page.
Yeah.
But like I love this idea that everything in your script matters.
Yeah.
Not how you write it necessarily. Not every moment has to be the biggest, most impactful moment. But like if a character picks up a pen, why are they doing it? Do they need to pick up that pen? They don't? Then why is that in your script? Right?
Yeah.
Like I think that is something that jumps out to me is how meticulously planned all of this is, where it's like the soup bit seems stupid in the movie. It seems like it's like weird, but and then at the end when he's like, and you were sitting here, and you were sitting here, like it's like it pays off. Like plantings and payoffs are really important, but you can't just set up a bunch watch out for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the staging I think is the biggest lesson. The staging is just unreal.
100%.
Really fun, good movie, guys.
Good movie. Guys, Clue, good movie.
Guys, Clue, really good movie.
All right, B segment.
B segment.
We're going to play a game we played before. This movie has a phenomenal cast. It's a very large cast. So I'm going to name you actors, and you have to guess the movie based off the cast.
Okay.
Only one of these you haven't seen, but I don't think that means you can't guess it.
Okay.
We're starting off with the largest cast.
Okay.
Joe Don Baker, Sylvia Sidney, Jack Black, Wayne Knight, Christina Applegate, Lisa Marie, Pam Grier, Jim Brown. We're not even halfway done yet.
Holy shit.
Tom Jones, Rod Steiger, I might be pronouncing it wrong, Natalie Portman, Lucas Haas, Michael J. Fox, Sarah Jessica Parker, Martin Short, Danny DeVito, Pierce Brosnan, Annette Bening, Jack Nicholson, and Glenn Close.
Is this the one I haven't seen?
You've seen this.
Holy shit. First of all, whoa, on the cast department.
What a giant cast. You have seen this movie. I don't know when you saw it, but you have seen it.
Holy fuck, Jack Black. I have literally no idea.
The like top build, I think, is like Glenn Close, Jack Nicholson, Annette Bening, Pierce Brosnan, Danny DeVito.
What fucking movie was... Because you say those names and my mind immediately goes Cuckoo's Nest, but no, it's not. It's not.
Let me see if I can see when you watched it.
What movie did Jack Black... Because it's not...
You watched it in 2021, so it's been a few years.
Holy fuck. Yeah, I have literally no clue. I'm yielding on this one. I got nothing.
Mars Attacks.
Oh my... Are all of those people in Mars Attacks? I remember where I was when I was watching Mars Attacks, what I was doing. Do not remember that movie at all.
Yeah.
Mars Attacks is fine. Holy shit, that cast.
That cast, dude.
I'm pretty sure that movie famously bombed, and now I know why.
Yeah.
Because how do you pay all those actors?
Legit.
Like, holy shit.
All right. I feel like you'll get this one pretty easy. Justin Long,
Okay.
Rainn Wilson,
Okay.
Sam Rockwell,
Okay.
Tony Shalhoub, Alan Rickman.
Oh, I totally forgot Justin Long was that Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I totally forgot that was Justin Long. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Rainn Wilson just in the background.
Yeah, as one of the guys.
Yeah.
Dude, Galaxy Quest? That movie rules.
Movie shreds.
That movie's... Have you ever watched the Never Surrender documentary that the Screen Junkies guys did?
No.
It's really, really sweet and really good. I
Nice.
really liked it.
Very nice.
Galaxy Quest fucking rips, dude. We got to find some idiot who hasn't seen Galaxy
Yeah.
Quest and show them that movie.
Yeah. I know a lot of idiots. That'll be pretty
Sick.
easy. Next one.
Okay.
Allison Pill, Mae Whitman, Brandon Routh, Jason Schwartzman, Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Yeah.
Okay.
But which one?
Whoa, no. Oh, fuck.
It could be either because they're all,
the same. I still haven't watched the Netflix one. I've heard it's really good.
I watched like 30, and I watched some of like the first episode, and it was like it is really good. you can kind of tell that they're not voice actors.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, that's the Invincible thing for me. It's like
Yeah.
you should have just cast voice actors.
yeah.
Like J.K. Simmons is great because he does both, but like
the
ugh.
energy is just different.
Yeah.
Like the energy is just different. Like it's a weird thing.
And Edgar Wright didn't like voice direct or anything. He just produced it. Like
Yeah.
So
Right,
it's
right.
I mean, totally different directing style too. So I'm sure that affects it. And, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta watch it still. I've heard it's fun.
Next one.
Next one.
Brandon T. Jackson, Bill Hader, Danny McBride, Jay Baruchel. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I don't like him.
Oh, is this Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to Tom
As
Cruise.
soon as you get to Jay, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's him and Bill Hader in that. Yeah.
All right, this is the one that you haven't seen, but I do think you can guess
okay.
it. Lily James, Andy Garcia, Cher, Christine Baranski, Julie Walters, Stellan Skarsgård, Colin Firth.
Oh, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
The fact that you knew it was Here We Go Again, too.
Because I've seen Mamma Mia. I've seen the first one.
Oh, I didn't know you've seen
I've
the
not
first
seen the
okay.
second one.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I want to watch the second one. I've
Yeah.
heard it's very fun. I guess
I've heard it's like way better than the first one.
Yeah. Good game. I like that.
Yeah,
game.
that's a good one. Recommendations?
Recommendations. I don't know if I have anything clue specific.
I've got one that has nothing to do with Clue.
You throw it out. Throw it out.
Dairy Girls.
I don't know much about Dairy Girls.
Watch it. It's really freaking good.
Yeah?
First of all, it's absolutely hilarious. Okay, all right. I am not a if it's in English, there's subtitles aren't on. I don't
Yeah.
need subtitles. I can and don't get me wrong. This is not me shading or saying anything about people who need subtitles when they're watching a movie. No tea, no shade. I'm not judging. But I am not a subtitles guy. Like I don't need subtitles. I don't want to watch stuff with subtitles if I don't have to. Dairy Girls, their accents are so damn thick. I literally the first season we had to have the subtitles on just because it took some adjustment to like fully understand their freaking accents.
Fantastic.
It is 3 seasons long. Every season is either 6 or 7 episodes, and every episode is like 30 or 40 minutes, and they are all absolutely hilarious. So it takes place in the like early 90s in Ireland during the Troubles. And it's just like a group of girls and one boy living in Derry, like with being surrounded by this ongoing like conflict. And just kind of like their everyday life. Like it's so funny how in the background the Troubles is like there's just like the first episode opens on them trying to get to school, but the there's a bomb on the bridge, and so they so they're like, oh, does this mean we don't have to go to school? It's like, no, you're going to school anyways. It is incredibly funny, and then like out of nowhere gets like really really heartfelt and sweet or like heavy at times. Like it is really an incredibly good show, and I honestly can't recommend it enough. It's absolutely hilarious. Like all of the actors and actresses in it are absolutely phenomenal, and yeah, I truly cannot recommend Dairy Girls enough. It's like such a short watch, such an easy, fun, good one. If you have the ability to watch it, go watch it ASAP, because it is so good. I can't recommend it enough.
Fantastic. I do want to check that out. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's
very up my alley.
And it's such an easy watch. I wish there was more of it.
Yeah.
Like I wish the seasons were like 10 episodes or like but like it is so there's not a single bad episode. Like every single one of them is an absolute banger. And like no time is wasted. It is very, very good.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right. I have 3. I got 3 recommendations.
Oh, look at the big guy with the big recommendation.
Yeah, all 3 in theaters.
Yeah.
I saw the TV Glow. Fantastic movie. Several of my Letterboxd mutuals were like, it's not that good. I'm like, I don't know, guys. I was pretty affected by it. I thought it was a really weird movie. I think it'd be very up your alley because it's not quite horror. It's not quite sci-fi, but it's a little bit of both.
Fascinating.
In a way that I'm super into. Really like the performances are fantastic. The lighting is really cool. But there's a couple of like moments and shots that I just have not stopped thinking about. That movie is really good, and it's a quick watch, it's like 90 minutes or something.
nice.
Not making a ton of money in theaters, but it should should be a really good one. Anyway, for Pride Month, you should go watch that movie because it's made by and for the gay community. You know what I mean?
Like,
very good. Gay and non-binary community. I should be more specific.
Yeah.
That movie is awesome, and I really recommend it. It's very cool. I also super recommend this movie that has flopped so hard it breaks my heart, Furiosa.
Yeah.
Dude, that movie ripped so hard. Like, it's so good. It's completely different than Fury Road, like in a very drastically intense way.
Yeah.
But like not in a bad way at all. Like I kind of described it as like where Fury Road feels like it's off-road, like off-roading. This feels like it's highway driving. You know what I mean? Like it feels almost like a biblical epic. Like, it's fantastic. Furiosa rules. Anya Taylor-Joy is incredible in that movie. Super, super into Furiosa. Watch that movie. Please go see it in a theater. It's like a theatrical experience.
Yeah.
Movie. It's so good. And then the other one is Hitman.
Yeah.
Hitman was real, dude. I was shocked. We went on like whatever, like a Friday or Tuesday or something. I don't know, Tuesday night or something, Monday night. Our theater was packed.
Nice.
And then I looked up the box office and it's doing really poorly. That movie's really fun. Glenn Powell wrote it with Richard Linklater.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, it feels like it's the first time we've really got to see Glenn Powell like just stretch a bunch of different muscles. Because he always feels very zoned in on what he's doing, like especially in some of his like Set It Up, a really good rom-com he's in, and Top Gun Maverick, where he's like playing very much that guy. He's an incredible actor, and we all knew that, but this really gives him the ability to like play this range and play this heartbreak and drama and suspense, and really good in that movie. Very different than I thought it would be, but in a really fun, cool way. Like it's a little bit more low energy than I thought it was going to be, in the right way, in the way that I think it should be. Really, really liked Hitman, and you should see that. You should see all three of these in theaters because they're fantastic. But yeah, go see these movies. Support the box office because it's in trouble.
Yeah.
Like in real, actual, dangerous trouble at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are my three recommendations.
Of course.
I wish I had a fun mystery one to recommend because we watched Clue.
Knives Out and Glass Onion.
Knives Out and Glass Onion. Those are
go.
the two. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Any last minute things?
Renaissance by Beyonce is a very good record.
Renaissance by Beyonce is a very good record.
That is a very good record. I just listened to it a lot recently. It's very good.
I need to actually listen to it.
And I don't think you'll be into it, to be
Yeah.
honest. It was just like the most like, it is such a good dance record. Like it's
Yeah.
just so freaking good. Like, not to say that you're incapable of liking dance music.
I'm too sad for that.
But it's like, it is just such a good dance, like fun. Like I just feel like a sexy woman when I'm listening to that record. It's like, I just feel like a bad bitch when I'm listening to that record.
That's funny.
Anyway.
Anyway, that's a really good time.
Yeah.
Really good bunch of movies we just told you to watch.
Yeah.
And a TV show. So you have a lot of stuff to do. So you should go watch all that. Or don't. I don't know. Live your life.